Hello, the lesson today is on writing inequalities, and definition of an inequality is an equation where two sides are not equal. So one side is greater or less than the other. So we have two basic symbols that we're going to work with today. So we have our greater than symbol, which always reminds me of like a little bird or an alligator mouth, because the alligator mouth eats the bigger number. So when we're using a greater than statement, we are working from left to right. So we would write something like 5 is greater than 3. And the alligator mouth is eating the bigger number, 5. We can also do this with 3 or 4 or as many numbers as we want. We could say that 3.8 is greater than 0.3, which is greater than negative 1.7. And we're still going the bigger numbers from left to right because we're using the greater than symbol. The opposite of that, of course, is less than. And when we read these inequalities from left to right, that means that the smaller numbers are going to be on the left. So we could say that negative 8 is less than negative 5. And the alligator mouth is eating the negative 5. And you'll have a bunch of problems to practice these situations, but it's important to know that the alligator is going to eat the bigger number, and that when we read these inequalities, we read them from left to right. So we're going to go through some examples. Number 1, order the numbers from greatest to least in inequality form. So we are going to be using the greater than symbol, because our first number is going to be the greatest number. So what I do when I do these is I underline the numbers as I use them. That way I don't use a number twice or forget to use a number completely. It helps keep me organized. So I know that 0.4 is the greatest of those numbers. So I'm going to say, well, 0.4 is greater than, and because I'm using all of these numbers, I need to find the second greatest number, which is here, 0.3, and 0.3 is greater than, next biggest is negative 0.3, and finally, negative 0.3 is greater than negative 0.4. So I have ordered the numbers from left to right, of greatest to least, and I've put them in inequality form by using the inequality symbols. Right, this is an inequality symbol. Example 2, order the numbers from least to greatest in inequality form. So we're going to be using the less than symbol. And the smallest number is negative 7. So I'm saying negative 7 is less than negative 4, which is less than negative 2, which is less than positive 5. So examples 1 and 2 were just exact opposites. And, well, yeah, they're exact opposites. Okay, example 3. So here they give you a sentence. It says, use the inequality to write a sentence describing the relative position of the numbers on a horizontal number line. So this is just asking whether the first number is to the left or right of the second number. So here we can read the inequality as negative 0.2 is less than negative 0.1, and we know that the smaller numbers are to the left of the bigger numbers on a number line. So my sentence would be something like negative 0.2 is to the left of negative 0.1. And that would be a complete sentence, and it would describe the relative position of the numbers on a horizontal number line. Of course, if it was greater than, then it would be to the right of the number. All right. Write an inequality that correctly completes each of these statements. So we're going to write an inequality that has three numbers, and we want three rational numbers between 15 and 16. So rational numbers can be whole numbers or decimals, and I am going to go with the greater than symbol, but I can do two examples. So I'm going to say, well, 15.8, because that's between 15 and 16, is greater than 15.6, and 15.6 is greater than 15.2. And that inequality would correctly complete each of those, or that sentence. If I wanted to go less than, that would be just as easy. I could say 15.1 is less than 15.3, which is less than 15.9. Either one of those would be perfectly acceptable, and all of those numbers are between 15 and 16. Hope this helped. Shoot me an email if you have any questions.